Good morning. Welcome to my neighborhood. It's an interesting day in the neighborhood. The National Advisory Committee has backed up Bonnie Henry, our provincial health officer, in her decision to spread the vaccine doses out by 4 months. We're hearing from people in our local community that are caregivers and part of the home support network from Vancouver Coastal Health that they have been given the Pfizer vaccine. We're a little bit concerned with people that don't qualify for home support but may be homebound or may be caregivers of people that are homebound, because some of them may not know that if they phone in, there is an option to have the vaccine brought to them. So phone in, please. Or if you know somebody, help them. You can help them make the calls. Everybody gets the vaccine, whether they can attend or not. And for those people that don't have transport, evidently transport is somehow being arranged. Don't know much about that one. I was watching Colbert this morning. Strange show that, but he was highlighting something kind of interesting. In Nevada, they're talking about giving corporations effectively government status, equivalent to counties, I think. And they have to have, large amounts of land and an innovation of some sort or other. And then they get to provide the government services. And it sounded kind of familiar. There's a 5-year-old TV series. I believe it's airing on Prime right now, called Continuum. And it's a bit of a science fiction time travel thing, but it's kind of fun because it's shot in Vancouver and Pemberton, and it has been particularly prophetic on a number of ways. But one of the things that it does is, in the future, governance is by corporation. That's why I was thinking about it. And on further reflection, I thought, we have a history in Canada of company towns. Powell River was a company town for pulp and paper. Mackenzie, Alcan. There's a lot of towns, particularly on the East Coast as well, that are company towns. And I don't know the history of governance in a company town. I know that the company has a huge influence and often builds all the houses and owns the town site and all sorts of things. But I'm not sure how the company interfaces in terms of governance with higher levels of government, other than they have a considerable clout because of the number of jobs they're creating and the money they bring in. So what happens if this trend of offloading our ideas of government to corporation goes forward? And not just in Nevada. Or maybe it already has. We elect people, and it is more and more we're electing parties, not people. Except perhaps in the north, where it's a little different. Once elected, governments appear to be relatively susceptible to lobbying. And either you're a big corporation that can get it together and pay lobbyists, or you have to gather up enough individuals to have a consistent message. But there's a lot of information, a lot of early warnings, a lot of early innovations, and a lot of communication that gets left on the table by our current government simply because they feel they can't read all the masses of missives that people send them by email. There are ways, of course, and Google is very good at this, of running through all the emails, pulling out the salient pieces, summarizing them, and figuring out which parts are perhaps the most important or different. Right now, governments are kind of dealing with what's the most important as opposed to what are the outliers. I wonder if corporations are any better at this. My experience working with them, in them, as a consultant and historically as an employee, is that they often miss the outliers that turn out to be really important. The really good corporations get them. And that is often what makes the difference, but sometimes by the time they grow, it gets washed out again. Not by intent, just by practice. And we see this very often at a much higher level in governance. For instance, our BC government has lauded the idea of getting information out by social media, while at the same time decrying social media for misinformation and not understanding how it works enough or communicating with people that use it enough to make it useful. And in fact, they actively appear to ignore it, suppress it, and discount it. Well, so do you want to be ruled by corporations? Maybe we already are. Do you want to be ruled by governments? Well, we already are. But I must say that it's refreshing to have somebody like Dr. Bonnie Henry making decisions based on good information and real-time consultation with people around the world, not waiting for somebody else to tell her what to do, and then having the bodies that take a little bit longer back her up. Thanks, Bonnie. It's nice to see. It's a refreshing change in government. We could use some more of that. So that's all I got for today. It's kind of quiet. There was a beautiful sunrise this morning. I didn't catch it on the camera, but it was there. And that's a good sign. It's not raining yet, but the forecasters tell us that it may rain soon. And yeah, earthquakes, spaceships landing, then falling over. Just par for the course, just another day. Talk to you later. Press like, subscribe. Bye now.